Hello viewers, today we are going to study about fate of thrombus. This is a small topic but very important one. So what happens when a thrombus is formed? If a patient survives the initial thrombosis, then in the coming weeks or in days, the thrombus undergoes certain events or a combination of events. What are these? So it may undergo resolution or dissolution, and this is because of the fibrinolytic activity. So what happens in case of recent thrombus? In case of recent thrombus, the fibrinolytic activity, it makes the thrombus smaller in size. The thrombus gets shrunken in size and it may completely gets dissolved. But this is not so for the older thrombi. So how the older thrombi are different? So in older thrombi there is extensive deposition of fibrin, and also there are cross linkages which make the thrombus resistant to fibrinolytic activity. So this explains that the therapeutic thrombolysis or the fibrinolytic drugs that are given in case of thrombotic event, so they have to be administered within few hours of that thrombotic event. If the therapy gets delayed, then it will be lesser effective in case, because the thrombus then becomes older, the cross linkages occur and the thrombolytic therapy that we are giving will not be that effective. Second is propagation. In propagation, the thrombus becomes bigger in size. It accumulates fibrin, it accumulates additional platelets, it grows in size and it occludes the lumen of the vessel, and this leads to downstream ischemia of the tissues. Then third is embolization. So the thrombus or a part of the thrombus, it can get dislodged from the site from where it has been produced. So it can get dislodged from that site and it travels along the circulation to a distant site and gets lodged there. So embolization can be seen both in venous as well as in arterial thrombosis. So the venous thrombosis, particularly the deep vein thrombosis, it has a propensity to give rise to pulmonary thromboembolism. Whereas the cardiac mural thrombi, they can give rise to systemic thromboembolism. And from there a variety of sites can get involved. There can be cerebral involvement of the cerebral arteries, so this will lead to cerebral infarction, ischemia of the lower limbs, splenic infarct, renal infarct. So a variety of sites can be involved in systemic thromboembolism, whereas the thrombi that arise, the emboli that arises from the deep veins, it leads to pulmonary, or it involves the pulmonary vasculature or pulmonary thromboembolism occurs. Next is organization and recanalization. So the older thrombi, they can get organized. There is ingrowth of endothelial cells, fibroblast and smooth muscles which can lead to organization of the thrombus. And then there is ingrowth of capillaries. So these are the capillaries. So the ingrowth of the capillaries, it leads to re-establishment of the continuity of the vessel lumen. So this is recanalization. And if there is continued recanalization, then the thrombotic mass, the thrombus, it gets reduced to a small connective tissue mass which ultimately gets incorporated into the vessel wall. So the thrombus gets reduced to a small connective tissue mass which gets incorporated into the vessel wall. And rarely what happens, the thrombus, the center of the thrombus can undergo enzymatic digestion. So this enzymatic digestion is because of the lysosomal enzymes which are released from the leukocytes and platelets which are entrapped in the thrombus. So this leads to the enzymatic digestion of the center of the thrombus, and if there is bacteremia and in this setting the thrombus gets infected, and it is then converted into an inflammatory mass which erodes and damages the wall of the vessel, and if this is unchecked then it can lead to mycotic aneurysm. There is dilation of the vessel, so it can lead to mycotic aneurysm, and this can lead to rupture of the vessel wall. So this was a short video on fate of thrombus. In the next video we will continue with embolism. We will study in detail embolism, the pulmonary embolism, thromboembolism, systemic thromboembolism, and other types of embolism. I hope this video was useful. For more such videos, please subscribe my channel and do not forget to like and share my videos. Thanks for watching.